Good morning from Valtrompia. I got a call a couple of weeks ago from Beretta saying, we've got something new we want you to see.
Now, I've seen a lot of shotguns, and let's be honest, not every new innovation lives up to the hype. But when someone like this says, come and see something special, odds are it's gonna be worth it.
I can't see a thing. I asked what it was. They said, we're not going to tell you. Just come, and come with an open mind. And so I'm about 10 minutes away from finding out what today's filming trip is all about. I'm a bit nervous. Usually they're a bit more open. Let's go.
This is Pietro, the product manager behind the new gun. As he walked into the room with the gun in hand, I could see it wasn't a handmade over and under, and he got straight into introducing what this gun was all about.
So this is it?
Yes.
It's a semi-automatic. Talk me through it.
Well, this is intended to be the best waterfall shotgun on the market right now. The main point of this project was how can we make the Extreme, the A400 Extreme better?
Which was pretty good.
The basic principle of the working design is similar to the A400, but the gun is a complete rethink on it.
So this is a specific gun for a certain type of hunter. We don't want to be, oh, this is a crossover gun. No, this is not true. This is a waterfall gun. So engineered to take and shoot big waterfall loads for ducks, geese, and
set up for heavy 3.5 inch.
Exactly. It is chamber, but of course you can shoot from 24 grams up to 64 grams.
I mean, where to start, right? It's definitely different.
Yes, it is different. We worked on our main 3 pillars, plus something else that we will explain later, in order to improve the Extreme.
It's got a new generation of kickoff for reduced recoil,
but also it is the most resistant material that you find.
A Stellium Pro barrel for better ballistic performance. The standard gas system has been redesigned to reduce the need for cleaning.
The whole look of it is very futuristic, from the stock to the little ramp at the back to the whole trigger pack concept. It's cool, it's different.
Yes, it is different.
And the biggest part of it, well, I didn't even notice it straight away.
The elephant in the room is that it does feature a polymer, a high technological polymer receiver.
A plastic?
Polymer, but yes, it's plastic overall. But the look of it, the feel of it is...
It feels like finished aluminium, right? So
yeah,
I didn't even clock
absolutely. The texture is... we studied the texture that, you know, it is technical on one side, but also it does look nice. Mm-hmm. So it is grippy, it is, again, with the rough waterfall consumer in mind. Why polymer? So this is the biggest question, I would say.
Given that aluminium is really good, quite lightweight and corrosion resistant, it does seem a bit mental to use plastic on it. Sorry, polymer plastic on a gun.
Yes, I fully agree. Well, that was a big decision for us. But polymer right now is not the polymer that you have seen, 20, 30 years ago. The technology around it is way improved. And also you see it with pistols, for instance.
Yeah, for the last 40 years, right?
Exactly. It doesn't require oil. It is weatherproof in a sense that you don't need to clean it. It is just polymer, so it's not a metal. It won't rust. It won't, let's say, corrode in any sense. Mm-hmm. It looks like a gun of the future. With polymer, you can think about doing these shapes and not with aluminum or steel.
Yeah, which would take an awful lot of milling and machining
and
just make a very expensive gun.
Exactly. So the other key pillar, let's say, was how can we make these look different?
A gun that looks like this needs to work. Not just on a sunny day in Italy, but in the worst and harshest environments in the world. When I challenged them on its durability, I was taken to Michele, who works in the testing department.
Well, that is not entirely what I expected, guys. I'm in two minds. I think something that shocking looking and modern Well, it needs some justification, and it seems that a lot of the technology and a lot of the changes are done for a reason, not just for aesthetics or something like that. Beretta was telling me that they have fired over 10,000 rounds through that gun alone, and they're up to about 60,000 rounds total testing through various platforms, all over 42 gram. What's that, ounce and a half? That's a big load. Because I questioned whether they've tested it or not, he's sent me to do some testing.
They've shot this thing in the heat, the cold, the dirt, the sand, and in the wet. Which was the test I was going to take part in now.
So the AX testing has been extensive, but not just shooting some ammunition, you've been putting it through NATO tests as well.
Yeah, all of our military weapons needs to be tested in extreme conditions. And this is one of them. This is one of the testing equipments that we use to replicate the heavy rain outside scenario. This is called the water spray test. This is the machine, and it's worked with magic, as you can see. The gun is supposed to be working flawlessly under this type of condition.
Is there safety concerns, like filling up with water?
No, I mean, if the gun has some problems here, likely will have problems outside. So the gun is designed to not have any type of issue under this type of condition.
We'll be safe in everyday England.
Every day in England. Summer, winter, every day.
And so I went full science.
All right, let's kick this off. Let's kick off with a few shots of buckshot, just get used to the water machine and load it outside, and then as we get a bit more confident, or as I get wetter and more involved, we're going to move into 52 grams and then some 3.5 inch 63 grams. I've not put any spacers in this gun. I'm going to have to crouch down to get through that. I do expect it to be less than pleasant, but you know, maybe all this work they put in will make it somewhat bearable.
Constant water spray, a variety of ammo, and I kept going until I ran out, wondering whether this gun was going to continue running.
We had a little mid-test change to jack this up. The squatting actually doesn't help with the recoil, it doesn't fit. Now we've got a bit higher, add a few more shots, and well, first I can get under the water properly, and I'm now ready to progress from reasonably heavy to what I would call quite heavy 52 gram shells through this bad boy before finding those 63s. Let's rock it. There's water jumping everywhere. Oh, that's wicked.
Look, I'm not sure who even goes out in weather like this, but if it can survive this test, it will probably handle a wet ditch on a marsh somewhere pretty well. As I mentioned earlier, they didn't stop here. They froze it. They sanded it. And mudded it too. They showed us a full breakdown of the testing, take it how you will, but I thought this was cool and better than most marketing fluff we see. We finished the day with a quick trip to the assembly room and R&D department. Learning the whys and the hows of the gun, and to see the 7 different colour options that will be available. The assembly process is quick, no nonsense, and the bedding machine is just as humorous as always. Pietro had mentioned in confidence the budget of the tooling of these parts. It is not insignificant, but that's what makes these clip together time and time again with no hand fitting. I had a vast amount of questions for the guys in the R&D team too, and I questioned every aspect of what they'd done over the 4-year process that led them to this final result, a bit of which I'll share with you later. Honestly, I still wasn't sure. It looked modern, cool, and the design concepts were promising. But you know, most things do when they're new and exciting.
I didn't know what to expect coming here today, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I think the gun was quite shocking when I first saw it, and the fact it's made of polymer was even more shocking, but learning that they've been working on this for 4 years, sorry, I've been working on it for 4 years, is pretty wild. A lot of the proof is going to be in the pudding. I'm sure it should shoot well, but we're going to go and find out tomorrow morning as to whether it runs and how it moves, and well, I guess we'll come tomorrow having thought all this through. But right now, I'm getting used to the idea of a plastic gun. Guys, we're going to go eat some pizza, or maybe pasta, or some other cliche. I'll see you in the morning.
The morning's testing couldn't come quickly enough. Armed with an AX800 and all I had learned on day one, we headed to the range to see if all the clever bits actually added up when it matters.
Well guys, in order to actually test this gun properly, well, earlier I shot it from the shoulder and I thought it handled really well, surprisingly well. For its weight, which is what, 3.4 kilos, it handles relatively central. It's neither fast nor slow, it's just a really well balanced gun. And what we found is this layout is kind of ducky.
The first proper test was going to be big shells, big recoil, sitting down like I was in a hide or a blind.
I'm not expecting this to be super pleasant, but hey, if any gun can handle it, from what I've learned, this one should be fine.
I loaded up and braced for impact, but it never really came.
That actually wasn't bad. That was surprisingly not bad for a 40 grammer.
40 grams is where most semis start to rattle teeth, but this one didn't budge a filling.
I took a minute between the takes to actually change the shims down. I kept it on the 2, it felt quite good from an upward shooting position, but I think because of the way this gun handles, which is perhaps where it's quite neutral balanced and not particularly heavy, it's quite fast, and so inherently I didn't want to see a lot of rib and make those calculated moves, didn't lend itself to that, so I set it up like I'd set up a duck hunting gun. Low, flat, meaning I'm looking straight down the rib, took the mid bead out, and I think I'm quite happy. I have to take my chair over to the next stand now.
Look at this beautiful mess I made. When the enemy is at your door, you better hold that line.
40 grams does break a target. 100% we should have 40 gram clay comps. There's a lot of satisfaction about breaking clays with this. This, it's got the competition lifter, and so actually it's constantly up, which means you don't have to push up against it to get the cartridge in. Super duper easy to load. Like, just from a simple perspective, you don't have to push down, it's just fast, easy, simple. Nice big loading gate, the whole thing, big loading port, everything about that is just, well, as it should be, fit for purpose, I think they call it in the game. Alright guys, let's actually look over this beast. I've taken it out, whacked 75 shots through it. We shot some 28 gram, that's ounce, some ounce and a half, and some ounce and a bit more than a half through it. Whatever that is. It was a lot. This gun ate everything up really well, surprisingly, and the action was pretty quick for a 3.5 inch. It was very satisfactory on those quick pairs. I mean, cycled faster than I could pull the trigger twice, so I mean, that's good enough for me. This gun's got loads of cool tech. We looked at some of it yesterday, but I want to, I guess, sum up some of the things I think are important for you at this point and do a good old-fashioned TGS look through, starting at the back. This is a whole new butt pad system. We've got a hard rubber with a sort of air pocket inside, or a gel inside, I don't entirely know, but a whole new system. The micro core is a great pad, but when you put it against harder stuff, it's got very little resilience, and so once that top layer goes, you've got the open cell foam inside, and that's less than ideal. From a longevity perspective, this should be a huge upgrade. Also, we've got
a little bit more resistance there, which should be good for those higher impact cartridges. You then have a spacer system on the back here. This has got the inch spacer in, although you can just put the pad on the end if you want it super short, but you can adjust the length as much as you want. The stock's got a heap of cool features other than the fact that it's got a new pad. Every gun will come with a factory standard comb, and then they're going to make one that is 5mm higher. Each of those combs has the same amount of foam protection on top and that sort of synthetic leather feel and finish. It's nice, and that little bit of soft foam should be good when putting the ammunition this gun is designed for through the gun. You know, this is a big cartridge gun, that's the point in it. It's not really a clay gun, although, you know, it's not duck season, so this seems to be the best way to test it. Hence we put those big bombs through it earlier to get a sense of what it's like. No point shooting this gun with just ounce loads and going, it's smooth. Doesn't really mean anything. Every auto is smooth with ounce loads. No, it's a lie. Majority of autos are smooth with ounce loads. Below the comb you can see the Kick-Off Pro, a whole new kick-off system done with a hydraulic piston, which is set and regulated for, I believe, 40-gram shells. But it should scale up for bigger ones. You'll see most benefit at 40 grams, but you'll still see benefit at 28 grams. And once you go up to 63s, as I found out yesterday, it does a bit, but the laws of physics just mean that 63-gram shells hurt. That's over 2 ounces. That's a lot of bang through the same tube. Like I said, it's a 63-gram shell kicks. But it did help to a certain extent. You know, I haven't got a massive bruise on my shoulder this morning. Just the whole thing goes off with a big bang. Moving forward, you have a shim system hidden on the inside here. That shim system allows you to have high, middle, and low drop, and either right or left hand cast. The grip is replaceable, comes with a standard grip, and they're going to do a tighter radius grip if that is something you're after at some point. And then we get to the most interesting part about this gun, and that is the fact that this action housing is made of composite. And yesterday I said plastic, and I got my re-education done in that this is not just any old plastic, it is pretty bulletproof. My first question was, is this a cost-saving exercise? And they bluntly said, we have got the process of milling out A400 receivers so down, that actually this one costs a little more to produce. You know, even just the moldings for this was hundreds of thousands of euros. Inherently, plastic doesn't go off. It's got no need for oiling. It is just a better product potentially for this application. And secondly was, plastic molding allows you to have some of these cool cutouts. And I mean, I don't need to describe the action, you can see it. It's pretty cool. You've got red dot readiness on the back there if you want to put red dot sights on. And again, if you want to start putting slugs through this gun, or in various different countries where like a red dot sight for duck or goose hunting is common, or a night sight, you can also put a Picatinny rail on the front. I mean, the whole thing is designed to be super versatile. Duck hunting has many forms. Duck and goose hunting has many forms across the world, right? The French sit in bunkers and shoot them on the water at night. The Americans can shoot them in a million different ways. In England, we do it a different way. And this gun has an awful lot of thoughts put into it to make it application suitable for as many cultures as possible. I kind of respect that, to be fair. It's very cool. Never gonna rust, never gonna damage. It's 4 different solid colors and 3 different camos, and the solid colors are actually molded out of that color plastic, so any scratches, dents, abuse is not gonna shine up, which I think is kind of nice. The trigger is cool. Similar trigger concept to the A400 inside, but with a new housing, a new blade, and they've actually completely reimagined the profile of the sear. The trigger is actually a little heavier overall weight on a gauge, but because they've, instead of having a longer, flatter sear, they've changed the angle of engagement to be harder and reduced the engagement. So inherently you're making a short sear break somewhat heavier. What you're left with is just a better trigger. You know, it is inherently shorter, the reset is really nice, noticeably cleaner trigger operation than the A400. Not that I thought that was that bad at all. Moving on, we've got Steel Pro barrels. That's a big deal that they put Steel Pro on here. They are just better with steel shot, which you have to use in the majority of countries in the world for ducks, non-lead ammunition. So that's a nice touch. You get more uniform shot clouds, you get more consistent velocities, and you get more downrange killing power, which is
good with steel. You want every piece of help you can get. Composite forend. The gun's got a 3.5 inch chamber, but can cycle down to a 2 3/4 inch cartridge, 70mm. I mean, you could probably risk it and put some heavy 2.5s in there, but most steel ammunition or most duck hunting ammunition doesn't come in 2.5 inch. So, Cerakote finish on the outside. Cerakote finish is good. Doesn't need much justification. Ceramic paint that's baked on, super hard. It's been around a while now. Hopefully you guys have a bit aware of what that is. Big note, we didn't clean this gun yesterday. I shot those big cartridges in the tunnel. It came out, it sat on the side to dry, it went in a gun slip and came here today. That is a testament to how little maintenance you need to give this gun. And a lot of that is due to the materials, the finishes, but also the new piston, which is, I think, really interesting. And they got a few independent studies done with new piston designs and new piston finishes to be able to come up with this concept. So we've got the same piston as an A400, still somewhat self-cleaning, like it's a great system, no complaints there. But what we've got on the barrel is just a fixed loop. Instead of having the whole assembly brazed onto the gun, because they wanted to try new finishes, they realized that a lot of finishes won't stand the brazing temperatures, and so they had to come up with a new design to have a piston that actually fits in. So this is strippable by a gunsmith, not by yourself, to take it apart, replace it, clean it, do whatever you need. Although that's not a recommended service item. Most of that is because inside here has got a multi-layer coated finish that will stop stuff sticking to it. So it's PVD on top and another couple of layers of stuff. And all I've been told is that it is very similar to the coating they put on plastic moldings. It's an anti-stick treatment with PVD on top to seal it in. What all that means is just longer intervals between having to give it a personal clean. Service interval, I believe, is the same, 10,000 cartridges, and it should go in for new springs, new bits and whatever. But if you're firing 10,000 cartridges through one of these at ducks, you've had a pretty good time. You've had a very good time. In my head, that's going to relate more to keepers, pest controllers, guys putting high volume through one of these. And I think it actually fits really well into that market. It's good, right? Speaking to Pietro off camera about a couple of the other projects they've done in the last year, his whole thing as product manager is to sell guns on tech, like their technological advances, better barrel technology, faster timing, less cleaning. That is his jam. He wants their clay guns to be the best performing. Aesthetics are always second to him, although I think there's a whole team behind him that makes sure the guns look good. There's 4 years of hard work in front of us. It's cool. It really is cool, from the fact that it's made of composite, the action made of composite. And, you know, it took my head getting round, but actually I woke up this morning, I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not? The metal on metal parts are running together. Where it needs a metal insert, it's got a metal insert, but literally, why not? It doesn't bother me. It's cool. It's just super cool. It's the sort of stuff that, hell, you know, in 20 or 30 years' time, people go, why didn't we do that before? Such a logical thing to do. Finally, and something that I probably skimmed over, is the finish. The finish on the composite is this textured finish that feels like, if you hadn't told me it was plastic, I think most people would just automatically assume it was a big piece of aluminium that had been sandblasted. It's nice. When we were in the water yesterday, it was insanely grippy. You've got rubber overmolds. I really like the finish. Like, it's no glare. It feels really good quality. It doesn't feel plasticky, and that is a huge deal. I think if they were to have done this and tried to keep it on a budget, that wouldn't have been good. They have invested enough money, and that does reflect in the price. All of this technology comes out a little bit more than the A400 Extreme Plus, that it's not replacing but joining side by side in the club with. And, you know, all of that tech's got to be worth it in my head. There's a lot of good things about the A400 Extreme Plus. If you want something that's just that little bit more dedicated to the pursuit of ducks or the pursuit of hard work with big shells, this is the one. How does it shoot? Well, that's going to be best discussed while shooting. And, well, I've got 50 shells left, so let's go have some fun. I think that is enough big shells for today. We're going to put it on the other end of the spectrum now. I've got a box of 24 gram 7.5s, 70mm cartridges. I don't know whether these are going to cycle. I perhaps wouldn't usually expect 24-gram shells to cycle in a 3.5-inch gun, but I also expect them to cycle a bit. So I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to shoot on this second raised compact course. More importantly, it's out of the sun. If she works. It really does handle nicely. Shooting these 24s, which work by the way, is a much nicer test of it. Shooting the heavies is good, right? It does actually make a difference whether this gun kicks you or not, and regardless of how much recoil reduction technology goes into a gun, it's just a hell of a big bang when you shoot a big cartridge like that. A 24, super soft, the fact it cycles is nice, but actually, I really do think it handles well. It's fast enough to shoot fast. You know, a lot of autos end up front heavy, especially wildfowling autos I've shot. They're front heavy, they don't handle or shoot that well. They're either too light and too whippy, or they're too front heavy, so actually it's sluggish for a light gun. This gun, very, very controlled. I can shoot some of those big crosses and, I say leisurely, but draw out lead really nicely. But when I need to, because it's quite light in itself, I can punch it. It's relatively easy to shoot for an auto, which is good. Autos should be easy to shoot. I've shot some that I've struggled with. It should be a bit of a hack shooting an auto, and this one definitely has that flavour. Shooting it sat down, shot it well. Shooting it stood up, we're shooting it well. And they're not gimme targets. It's fun, it's repeatable. You're not buying it to win world championships. It's not a clay gun, it's not designed to be. It's not that sort of weight, it's not that sort of setup. You just want to be able to kill ducks, pigeons, crows, whatever it is you take this gun out for. So it can't handle badly. It needs to shoot to a standard, and this gun definitely shoots to the standard and maybe a little bit above where it needs to, given that it's, you know, as I say, just hesitate to say just a duck gun, because having been out enough times, when there's an opportunity, you need to maximize it. And that's the truth of it, right? When there's an opportunity, you need to maximize it. So that might need a big cartridge to help you extend your range, extend your killing capability. This gun can handle it. And if the birds perhaps actually take a bit of talent to shoot, they're not just sort of wings back entering the decoys, it does walk the walk. Oh! And that brings us to a close, guys. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. It's been a pretty unique experience to come and see this prototype gun. Definitely worth the trip out to Italy, and I hope you you appreciate this for what it is. It's definitely edgy. The look is modern and wild, and it took me a little while to get used to it, but certainly coming here and shooting it today and spending all the time with the team actually learning about what this thing's about has been a real privilege. It's cool. It's super cool. Is this going to be a taste of the future? Who knows? Will we see more plastic guns? Composite, action, semi-automatic? Who knows? All in all, thanks for watching, guys. And we're going to get out of the sun and fly back home to the rain. Thank you for watching TGS Outdoors. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. This channel would not be possible without the support of our amazing sponsors. They've supported the channel for a long time. We only work with people we love and whose product we trust. If you want to support the channel too, make sure you check out channel memberships. There's early access content, there's some pretty cool exclusive release content.
My view is you never want to let the bird get past you because you can't see under your gun.
And occasionally we go clay shooting together. We just appreciate your support. Even if you can't, your view is great. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.